things are on the up or things are falling down. Celebrate the hard times, stay passionate through the lows, find strength in the chaos, no matter which way it goes. It's not easy being blue. Heartbreak comes in many ways, the hardest times, the darkest days, but all these things get washed away with us, with us. The highs might not come every day, but memories do, and memories stay. Enjoy that moment anyway with us, with us, with us. It's not easy being blue. It's not easy being blue.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the Not So Monday assessment this week, because it is Wednesday, by the View from the Medway fancast in partnership with the Gillingham FC Supporters Club and sponsored by Snodhurst Used Car Sales and Service Station. So, after Mr. Ainsworth's first home game in charge, which I feel was a very good game indeed, we are back for this brief show. It could be longer than brief, but we are back this evening, and I am delighted to be joined by John from Snodhurst. I am joined by Luke of Luke's 11 fame of German Gills, and I am joined by Phil. So how are we, gentlemen?
Very well, thank you.
Good
good,
stuff.
thank you,
So,
mate.
no views news this evening because we only did a show Monday, so not a lot has really happened since then and now. So we will just quickly go straight on to the used facts. So the club was founded in 1937. They played in the Southern Football League between 1937 and 1950 before being elected to the Football League in 1950. They currently play home games at Colchester Community Stadium, former Layer Road. Their highest league standing came in 2006, and they were promoted to the Championship. So we quickly go straight on to the lineup, and we had Glenn Morrison goal. We had a back five of Max Clark, Andy Smith, Conor Marston, Sam Gale, and Romeo Hutton. We had a middle two of Johnny Williams and Robbie McKenzie. Clark in at the 10, and then Joe Bode and Elliot Nevitt at the top. So we will quickly touch on the lineup, boys, and I'll go with you first, Luke. Were there any surprises there for you, even on the bench, or was it kind of normal play as usual, mate, really?
Yeah, I think at the minute, kind of the defence, well, back five picks itself, really, doesn't it? I would have liked to see this change to a 4-4-2 yesterday, but I see kind of there's not going to be that many rapid changes at the minute until I think we're mathematically safe. Jaden Clark was a bit of a surprise coming in and starting. But apart from that, it's kind of the continuity over the last, since obviously St Coleman left as well with this formation and players that are starting are pretty solid at the minute. So yeah, no real surprises apart from the Clark one. But yeah.
Yeah, I think it kind of picks itself, doesn't it, that back five? I think it's now kind of one of them things there, John, where we've got that, and then maybe the middle two do, but then if Little's back there, then I suppose we could put Little in for Johnny Williams. For me, it's more the 10 and the top two now that we kind of need to get sorted out to the end of the season. So, yeah, what were your thoughts on the lineup, and do you think that we could have done anything a bit differently?
I wasn't surprised with the lineup, to be honest. I don't think in terms of formation that Gareth's going to make sort of major changes straight from the off, because we've not been losing games. It's been working reasonably well. So wholesale changes the minute he comes in formation-wise, I wouldn't expect. Great to see Johnny Williams in the side, obviously. Clark's a bit of a surprise, perhaps, but we're going to be trying things. New manager wants to see who he fancies, who he doesn't, who does what. So I don't think anything really should be a major surprise because he's working out what he wants to do. The Armani Little thing at the moment, that's going to be a big problem when he's back from suspension. Because how do you drop Johnny Williams? You can't drop him. The form he's in, he's unbelievable. But then you'd say you can't drop Mackenzie either. So he's got a real problem getting the skipper back into the side at the moment after that performance.
Yeah, but then I suppose it's a good headache to have, isn't it? Especially with the season the way that we've gone at the moment. 19th in the league, dropping your captain is a good headache to have. Well, he's not dropped him, but obviously when he comes back from suspension, it's a good headache to have, isn't it, mate?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. That's not a bad problem, is it? You think you've got those players playing really well. And, yeah, which one would you drop? I mean, fellas, which one would you drop? If you had to drop Williams or Mackenzie tomorrow, which one of those would you drop to get Johnny Williams, to get Armani Little back in the side?
Yeah. So, Phil, I'll pose that question to you then, mate. Who would you drop if you had to take one of the middle two out and bring Armani Little back in?
The Hobson's choice, isn't it? You know, we've got a really good team on paper. You know, nice to see them all working together as well. Here we are. You know, we've got two captains dropped, which is kind of sums up our season, doesn't it? 3 managers, 2 drop captains. But we are effectively having the Gillingham version of the Squid Game. You know, Ainsworth has said he wants to have a much smaller squad next year. So the squad's going to be about half the size it currently is. And unfortunately, there's not room for everybody. And that means dropping some people that we'd love to see stay. And it also means some players will have to make the most of the opportunities they've got between now and the season to show Ainsworth what they can do.
Yeah, Luke, I want to ask you a question, mate, because it's something that I've been thinking about since last night and since hearing his press conference after the game, saying that the boys all tried hard. Do you think that if we carry on this level of, performances throughout the rest of the season, whether we will be surprised as fans, the amount of players that are kept on, other than what they would have done before he came in?
I think we've seen it over, 5 managers now, that this lot can play well for 3 or 4 games and then they completely go off the side of a cliff. So I think if you go back to the first point about who you'd drop about with Williams and Mackenzie, I'd probably like to see Johnny Williams going into the 10 and then Armani comes in behind him. Just because if you look at the way we played last night on the front foot, pressing high, you get that from Armani, Johnny, and Robbie. And it's kind of, again, putting round pegs in square holes, is just put Johnny in that 10 where he wants to play. And I think we'll see the best of him. I think last night, that was the best performance he's had in the Gillingham shirt by an absolute country mile. Obviously, he's still got a year left on his contract, so you'd want to think that he's taken the opportunity to cement his place within the side. In terms of the players, I don't think it changes much. I think I heard that we've got, including loans, there's 20 players who are out of contract or going back at the end of the season. We need players that can perform at a consistent level, and I'd be happy next season going in having players that are not absolute, world beaters or the likes of Bradley Dack star men. I'd just be happy with a team of if you could have a small squad, I'd probably have a squad of 20, 21. That are solid 7 out of 10s every week. If you get that, I think we'd be all right. But like I say, the problem with this group is consistency and their severe lack of it. And Jaden Clark's probably the biggest one out of all of that for not being consistently good enough. But the whole group, and that's the problem we've had over the last 2 years.
Yeah, we definitely have, Phil. And Phil, I'll come to you with the question of, it's quite telling that he's left pretty much that, apart from the bench, the starting 11, apart from Andy Smith, was full-time contracts. They're not loans. So do you like the fact that he's leaving the loan players out to a massive degree and trying to see what he's got with regards to full-time players with the squad?
I'm not quite sure how I feel about it, to be honest, because effectively this is his second game in charge. He's only been with this group of players for a week. I don't think we can start to see exactly what he's got planned until we're another couple of games down the line. He's got another few days now to get ready for Salford on Saturday. He's got another game next Tuesday as well. So it's all happening right now. And he's got to figure out who he wants to have around, who he wants on the pitch, and who he wants to keep on the bench, and who he wants to keep bubbling away. So it is a bit baffling, to be honest, as to why some of the loan players aren't making an appearance when they were brought in to help us out at this stage of the season. And I'm sure it's not fun for them to be left out, but it is what it is. And effectively, we've got to trust the process. But watching Johnny's post-match interview yesterday, it's quite clear that Ainsworth has left a mark on the squad already.
Yeah.
And, he's talked about wanting to make them walk through fire for him. And it seems like that's what's starting to happen. And indeed, we saw that with the tempo and the pace that we had last night. So, we're only 2 games in. Ainsworth said at his press conference last week it may take up to 6 months to get the squad the way that he wants it to be. We're just got to be patient. But at the same time, we've got to let him do what he's doing with the players that we've got. And, as I said, we've got a big squad right now. He's got to assess them as effectively as he can, and that would include some of the loan players, because some of the loan players will probably have been brought in with one eye on seeing whether they'll be able to stay in the squad in the next season.
Yeah, potentially. I think Andy Smith, I'd like to see Andy Smith stay. JJ Morgan, I don't know. I don't think he's done enough. I had high hopes when he came in, but I don't think he's done enough to actually stake a claim to be in next season. Not that he will be, because you don't sign a £6 million player on loan to then keep him the next season unless it's another loan. Ewan Williams, obviously we've got him on a permanent. Jacob Wakeling, I don't know what's going on with him, to be quite honest. He was out the squad for a long time. No one knew if he was even alive, to be fair, did they? And then he's come back in and he's barely got a look in himself. Well, I think he's quite an effective player. So we'll quickly move on to the actual game itself. And before we do, I just want to touch on a very contentious issue, if you don't mind, gentlemen. And we will start with Jack Payne's goal and the build-up to said goal. So I will just rewind it to where I think it happened, if I can get it to that point. There, right? So I was sat, if you look where the ball is, if you go straight up into the Raymond, I was like 3 or 4 rows back. So yeah, Luke, I'll go with you first, mate. And where you were sitting, what were your thoughts on it at the time?
So I watched the game on telly last night because I don't know if you saw the train delays would mean that I didn't get home in time. So from on telly, it looked out. If you see all the pictures that are on social media today, the ball's definitely out. It's one of them ones. We've had so many bad refereeing decisions against us this year. It's just another one to add to the catalogue for this season. But I think Ainsworth say that I thought it was quite funny where he said I think it was a bit tongue in cheek where he said the linesman might have been blinded by the goal, which I thought was quite funny. But yeah, it's definitely out. But again, it shows good character. We've gone behind again this season and come back. So it shows how much character they've got now. But yeah, the ball's definitely out. Yeah,
definitely. And John, I'll go with you, mate, on the same question, really. Your thoughts on it? I mean, I've heard people say on social media that it was in. I've heard people say on social media that it was out. I've heard people say that, and I do agree with the Sam Gale thing. He should have just pelted it out of touch, but he didn't. He let the player spin him. So yeah, what were your thoughts on it?
Yeah, first of all, anyone who says that was in, they need to go and get a pair of these because as a linesman, because there's no debate. There is no debate. It's there on screen, the ball was out. End of story. Everyone in the ground knew it was out straight away, who was in a reasonable view of it. Now, how the ref's not seen it, I've got no idea. How the linesman's not seen it, I've got no idea, because neither of their views were obstructed. And sometimes officials, they need to look at the reaction of players as well, if they're unsure. Glenn Morris, one of the calmest players you could ever meet. I spoke to Johnny Williams after the game, and Johnny didn't actually know whether it was out or not. He said, but what made him think it was? He said, Glenn went absolutely mad. He said, and Glenn's like the calmest, most honest player in the world. He said, and from Glenn's reaction, he knew it was out.
Yeah.
And even after, when they started celebrating, the Colchester players, and then they sort of stopped celebrating, they knew as well. And it was just another disgraceful decision. The level of officials in this league is absolute pony. It's a disgrace. And I'm glad it was a game where no one had anything to play for, because someone could be relegated on the basis of a decision like that. Someone could be out of the Football League on the basis of a shit decision like that. And it's not right. It is not right. We could, when they're a bit borderline, you can understand that. That's absolute crap, I'm afraid. And I was steaming about it.
Yeah, it's quite mad actually, Phil, when I've actually stopped it there. You can, like, I can see the referee on the left-hand side here, right? I can see him standing there and he's got full view of it. So did he just think that it was still on because he's obviously front facing towards it rather than being side on, Phil? I can't make head nor tail of it, to be quite honest with you, mate.
I don't know. I mean, I've reflected on this overnight. We sit on the other side of the goal in the main end. We're 2 rows from the front. We had a grandstand view of the entire thing. And obviously, Sangale should have kicked it out. He was quite clearly thinking about what he was doing. And I think at the moment they came and took it from him, he didn't realise that there was a player right behind him. So he took all the time in the world, and that's how that mistake happened. But the ball is very clearly off the pitch. And as John said, Glenn Morris is one of the calmest professionals in the entire Football League. He is not a cheat. He is not someone who's going to complain for the sake of complaining. He just... he got really irate about it, but the entire defence did. And if you watch back as well, you'll see that our defence stopped running because they knew the ball had gone out. So I genuinely do not understand how the referee just waved away all those concerns and let it go, because Glenn Morris knew that something was wrong, and the referee just waved it on. It's just, honestly, I've never seen anything so bad. Well, not this season. This has to be the worst decision that's gone against us this season. And it cost us all 3 points at the end of the game because, not to get too far ahead of ourselves, it was a one-sided game and we were in control. So, this cost us 2 points. As John says, that could be the difference on the last day of the season between us staying up and us going down.
I can't see it for us personally, but I do get the sentiment with regard to it could have any other club. So I'll just quickly play the rest of the clip. It's not really that long. Black Penny smashes it in. You can clearly see Glenn Morris going for it. But other than that, boys, we will look at the game as a collective. That was in isolation as a collective. I think that for me, it was probably one of our best games of the season. It was a 1-1 draw, but I would probably say it was in our top 3 games this season that we've had, Luke, don't you?
I think it's probably our best. For me, the kind of the standout statistic for me is when we've dominated games, say this season on possession-wise, we haven't had that many shots and we haven't had that many shots on target. Bear in mind creating 3 big chances. But it was just the energy that the team had was completely night and day from what we've seen this season. We weren't sat deep, we was attacking on the front foot. I think Gareth Ainsworth seems to be a manager of men, very much like Neil Harris, where they kind of wants to get him, as he said, fighting through brick walls for him. And they've clearly bought into whatever he's done so far. He might have brought in someone to do the hacker or something like that, like he did at QPR to get him on side, something weird. But you know, I think last night was if that's what we're going to get served up week in, week out under Ainsworth, I'll be more than happy. You know, get some new players in who can put the ball in the back of the net, because I think that's the only thing that we're missing. You know, when them chances last night, Joe Bocha scored in the first half. Yeah. Ollie Hawkins, that header, you know, from that 6 yards out, you'd hope he'd score. Masterson should have scored. Nevitt had obviously a flash chance, but you know, that's a lot more than we was creating under John Coleman. And last night we actually went for the win. And again, like Harrogate as well, we actually wanted to go for the win, which we haven't done this season. We've been happy to accept a point and then sit back. It's definitely a step in the right direction. I think, as he said, we can't get too ahead of ourselves. Like Colchester just outside the playoffs, and they were woeful. But you know, this 2-year project that we've got, you know, the trajectory that can go on under Ainsworth, it is all there to see just from that last night's performance. But like I say, we add quality, play like that. You know, I think we'll be definitely further up the table than what we are currently sitting next season.
Yeah, definitely. And I've been told that, you know, from minute one he's brought in structure. So, you know, it's a good thing. We've been lacking it. So lacking it. And everyone last night, to a man, every player, maybe not certain players, we won't go into that, 1 or 2, but the majority of the players, they were up for it. They were going for it all game, weren't they, John?
Yeah, absolutely. From the first minute to the last, intensity, energy, exactly what we've been missing. You've got the gaffer on the sidelines. He's heading, he's kicking every ball with them. And they were giving everything for him. And to be fair, having sort of spoken to him, he said that's what he demands. He said, I'm a manager who wins football matches. He said, I play the sort of football to win football matches. I play intense football, attacking football. He said, and that's what I expect of every man in my team. But he said, if they leave nothing out on that pitch, if they give everything and we lose, so be it. He said, all I expect is every player to give absolutely everything. And that's what we saw last night. And I'll tell you what an enjoyable game of football to watch. To see Gillingham playing that way again, it's amazing. It's so good to watch, and really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was. And Phil, to be quite honest, mate, you look at them total shots, and I think I can speak for all of us here. Like, we've not seen that kind of number and total shots for quite a while, have we, mate?
It's been great. And I just remember turning to my son after about 8 minutes into the game saying, I could have sworn about 20 minutes has gone past, because there was so much action within that first opening spell. And just seeing them try to bang it in. They were taking shots from all over the pitch, up close, outside the box. You know, they were really going for it last night. And it's just nice to come away. I know it is a draw, but in some ways it feels like a win, just because we were actually playing that Gillingham again, you know? So proud of them for doing that last night. So, you know, the finishing obviously needs work on, but it's coming, you know? We can see it's coming. That trajectory keeps going. We're going to be having happy days.
Yeah. No, I think I sat there like, you know, when you get to the end of a game and, you know, you just feel content with a draw, because it's not something you feel very often, is it, really? But you just felt content with a draw because we were robbed. Okay, others would say we weren't, but we were in the first half, and then we come out in the second half. And I just want to touch on the penalty incident for us. I mean, we did have a shout before that as well, but the penalty incident itself, from where I was sat, it was like the player was literally, Hawkins was trying to get off the floor to begin with. And he was literally like, he had him like in a leg wrap and then pulling him over at the same time, Luke. And I was like, if this referee does not see that, the ball wasn't coming in or anything like that, but it was just there. And if the ref hadn't seen that, I think it would have just been, everyone would have been piling on the pitch.
Yeah, we've had some of them not given to us this season, haven't we? Like some absolute stonewallers. So no, it was a definite pen. I thought he was kind of being a professional in WWE at one point, the way he was trying to take Hawkins down. But no, again, like I say, I do like Ainsworth in interviews afterwards where he's kind of really taking the point of appointing Max Clark as his penalty taker, comparing to Joe Jacobson at Wickham. But again, Max took the penalty really well. And I think, I don't know if there's be interested for all the stats people. So was it the last 4 games a left back scored 3 in 3 consecutive games? 3 goals in the last 4 games. Yeah. I'd like to see if that's been done before. But fair play to Max Clark because he was out in the cold under Coleman for a while. If we're being honest, he's not the best defender in the world, but he does put a shift in. And yeah, he knows how to put a penalty away. So long may that continue.
Yeah, definitely. So I just want to, because I think I mentioned it on Monday night show about Max Clark. Obviously, when he came in, we thought that he was going to be number 1 left back, and then obviously Scott Malone came in. He was pushed to the side a little bit, and then he fought his way back into the squad. So, Phil, I'll go with you. I personally think that he should stay within the club next season. I feel that he's done a lot. Every time he's come back, he's always fought for his position. He's always been there, and I would happily have him back in the squad next season. What are your thoughts on that?
At the start of the season, I wanted him gone. I was not happy with his performance. I was really disappointed with the way he was distributing the ball. I genuinely thought he was causing us problems and causing us defeats. I'm completely wrong. He has turned around. And he is such a vital part of this squad now. And I am so glad that he's persevered. He's shown us what he's capable of. And he's a fighter. He is on that pitch trying hard to win the ball, to get the ball to where it needs to be, to throw it in, to pass it in, to knock it in, to take corners. He's doing everything that he possibly can to try and ensure that we get the advantage. So, yeah, he's got to stay. No 2 ways about it. He's got to stay.
Yeah, and Luke, yourself?
I'd have him in the squad, but he wouldn't be my first. I wouldn't have him as my starting left back, if I'm being completely honest. I think he's prone to a bit of a clanger. I don't think he's quick enough. And yeah, I would have him around the squad, but he wouldn't be my first choice left back going into next season, especially if you're going to go and play the wing back system, because I don't think he gets forward enough. But for me, like I say, fair play to him the way he's coming back. You can't take that away from his character. But if we want to really push on, he wouldn't be my starting left back, if I'm completely honest.
Okay, fair enough. And John?
As Luke said, with a wing-back system, he's probably not really got the pace. We saw last night, right in front of me, actually, a couple of times where we were all sat. It was on a plate for the ball just to be passed into the space up the wing and for him to get on his bike. But he just doesn't make that run. He's just not got the pace. For some reason, he's not making that run, which could take us forward to then create something. As I say, it's probably down to pace. There you go. But at the moment, he is putting a good shift in. He's got the shirt, and there's nobody there to take it from him at the moment, as far as I see it. All the time he's performing as he is. So good on him. And yeah, I think we should keep him. Absolutely.
Fair. Yeah. Yeah.
Can I just pick up on something Luke said about Max dropping clangers every so often? One of the things that Johnny said in the post-match interview that you did last night is Ainsworth wants to give the players permission to actually make mistakes. Yeah. And pick up on them, and move forward. So we saw that last night, when that first goal went in, our defence could have crumbled, but they didn't. They managed to keep the resolve. And I think that's actually more to do with the character that Ainsworth trying to give them. They will make mistakes. We're all human, We're not going to be perfect in every game.
No, I get that, but I don't think he's quick enough either. And I don't know how he was in left back for a title winning side in Stevenage, but he wasn't the type of player that when we signed him, I don't think, well, a lot of them really, I don't think he's lived up to the expectation, especially coming from a side that won the league. I just don't think he's quick enough. And I don't think his defending capabilities are as strong as what we would need to really push up the table. But like I say, I'd be more than happy to be proved wrong. But I do think he's a squad player. I don't think he's a first 11.
Oh, fair enough. This is what it's all about. Everyone has a different opinion. Some have the same opinion. So, but yeah. So we will move on. This is probably the most pointless segment of the show, to be honest, tonight, because we will quickly move on to our man of the match, and we will go with Luke and his doppelganger.
Yeah, Big Johnny. Big Johnny. He's Joe, what, fair play to him, because if you listen to his the press conference after, where he's quite downbeat when they asked about how he's been left out and that he's been fit all season, hasn't really suffered with any injuries. I think he described it as one of the hardest seasons in his career. If I think I'm right on that. But last night was the type of player that we thought we had signed when we, last season for Swindon, he scored 10 goals and got 10 assists. That was the type of player that I thought would be arriving at Priestfield. And yeah, fair play to it. Like I say, I really would like to see on Saturday, if Little comes back in, I really would like to see Johnny back in the 10 and really kind of give this as a springboard step for him to push on to next season. Because like I say, he's got one year left in his contract. You probably could get some money for him from another League 2 club. I know there was talks about him going MK Dons. There was interest in January. And so, yeah, really happy for him. Really happy for him indeed.
Yeah. Yeah, and John, I think I spoke to you earlier and I was like Johnny Iniesta last night, wasn't he? He was really, he literally was the machine in that midfield that made everything work. He put everything went past, everything went through him really. And he was a Johnny Williams I remember when he was at Palace, to be honest.
Yeah, he was literally the glue that held that performance together. And if the ball was lost, he was winning it back. He was winning headers. He's a class player, and as you say, at Palace quality, you don't have the amount of international caps he's got unless you're a good player. I know people say Wales aren't as great a nation internationally, but there's still enough players who would qualify for Wales. So the amount of caps he has, it's class. He's a class player. And it was, do you know what, as Luke touched on, it was really disappointing to know that he hadn't have been injured. I'd have rather he had been injured than outside to know that he's been fit all along and not been picked, because I think a player of that quality, with his attitude on the pitch is always fantastic. And do you know what, when you see him around the place off the pitch, he always seems to have a good attitude. So the fact that he hasn't been in the side, I think it's a bit of a disgrace, really. And I hope he stays in the team, and I hope we keep him as well. I know, like, people are coming for him. I think he's one of them players that you sort of build something around, don't you? Because when he's on form, he's a class act.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he's been quite unfortunate with us, really, because when he first come in last season, we were playing him on the left, weren't we, really? It was a bit of a travesty. We were playing him there. Then he came back in, started the season, played in the 10, scored the lovely goal against Carlisle, first game of the season. And then after that, he kind of just drifted out, and we've not really seen him since. So Phil, I will go with you, mate, in your reasons for Johnny. I'm pretty sure we've covered most of them, but...
Yeah, you have. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Johnny is my favourite player in the entire squad. I love seeing him on pitch. He brings a real energy to it. He's also a bit like a weeble because he keeps getting knocked down, but he gets up again. And his energy is just phenomenal. So, I was really pleased to see him in the starting 11 yesterday. I'm really pleased to see his contribution. Well-deserved man of the match. Not just from all four of us, but from the entire stadium as well. So, I'm just delighted. And I hope that this will be the first of many between now and the end of the season. There's only 7 games left, aren't there? But, he showed why he should be in the squad, and he shows the difference that he could make. And Ainsworth's going to notice that. So, onwards and upwards with him, frankly.
It's just... I've got, but yeah, it was, for me, it's definitely the best performance he's had in a Gill shirt for me. Like, it's just absolutely, he was everywhere, just running the show everywhere. He was dropping deep, he was coming forward, he was linking up the play. He was just everywhere. He's, like I say, Johnny Iniesta Like he was just absolutely everywhere, proper maestro last night. So, and you know what? I've met him a few times. He's quite a softly spoken person, but he's speaking on the pitch is just, do you know what I mean? Like he's a lovely bloke. So anyway, Luke, seeing as you are part of the German Gills, we will let you introduce the goal of the month, mate.
So this is the German Gills goal of the month, sponsored by CNA Building Plastics.
Products,
sorry. I say that every week.
Left hand side, and it's going to the little. He feigned his man. Someone take a shot at goal. We do take a shot. It's saved. Bounce. Someone get that on target, and it's in. And Gills have scored. My goodness me, we've got one back through Jimmy J. Morgan. Gills with the corner on the right hand side, going to the centre box. Can we get something on target? Come on, take the shot towards. Yes! And we scored! And I think that's it. McKenzie. Oh no, it's Masterson. He's come back into the squad and he's backed himself a goal. And Gills have gone 1-0 up on the 55th minute. My goodness me. Gills got a free kick in a very dangerous position here. It's going to be a shot towards goal. We're going to take his shot. It's gone to Max Clark, who takes the shot. Yes! And Gills have equalised through Max Clark. My goodness me, we've got a right at the end. And Gills look like they might be able to snatch a point at Accrington. It's a fantastic free kick move. Gills fans, which goal was your favourite this month? Pick from our top 3 nominations. If you're on Twitter, cast your vote in the poll, and if you're on YouTube, drop your choice into the comments. The winning goal will be mentioned in our next German Gills video and will be in contention for the goal of the season title.
huge thanks.
Reese's goal celebrations should just be as an option to
we need to do a collage of Reese's goal celebration. It probably won't be that many this season, given, but
oh, they're just an absolute enigma.
Oh no, but I just absolutely love it. He's absolutely enthusiasm, brilliant. But yeah, I don't think I need to tell anyone watching to follow German Gills or Reese or look out for Luke's 11 because you probably all do anyway. So, but yeah, I said to Reese earlier that I'd share it because I really do like his celebrations when we score a goal. Wasn't so prevalent a couple of months ago because we didn't actually score any. But yeah, I absolutely love it. But we will quickly touch on a look ahead. So Salford on Saturday, they have drawn at last 1-1 drawn, and we have won, drawn. So I will start with you on this one, John, and your hopes and aspirations for Saturday.
I think we're going to go up there with a bit of confidence. We're playing freely because we've not got the pressure of playing for the playoffs. We're not looking over our shoulder, 2 points off the relegation zone or anything. And everyone's putting in a real shift for the gaffer. So I'm going to say we're going to go and win it. And I think we will score a couple of goals as well. I think the time's got to come. And why not this weekend? Yeah.
Yeah, and Luke, I think we beat them 2-0, didn't we, last season? Deing and, was it Shad, I believe, off the top of my head, when we played them at the Peninsula. So what are your hopes and aspirations for Saturday?
Like I said, I think like what we've already mentioned, I'd like to see Johnny move into the 10, Little come back in. Just carbon copy, repeat, copy and paste of Tuesday night's performance, really. It's all for a good side. But I think we're under something new with Ainsworth and definitely be, I think 2-1 will win.
Yeah. Yeah, and Phil?
Well, we've got to remember Salford. We're going to be pushing for that playoff spot. They've still got a chance to sneak in. So they'll be pushing very hard to try and get that victory. But, Ainsworth's going to have another few days with this team. And frankly, anything can happen. If he can get our forwards to actually find the confidence to get the ball on the back of the net, and we can play like we did last night, we can even play like we did on Saturday, and we can get those shots on target actually into the goal, then we could have a very convincing win. We're due a win. We're certainly due a win under Ainsworth. So I'm going to keep my hopes up, and I'm going to say that we will win 2-0.
Fair enough. I found it quite scary. Like I was thinking about it when I got home last night, and on the train journey back, once the trains weren't cancelled and I could actually get home, It's quite nice stopping off at the Southern Bell on the way home for a beer before I then got on a train that was cancelled. So I was thinking about it, and I was just like, he's had two sessions with the boys, and he's already got them playing like that. So what has he got? Probably a session today, session tomorrow, then travelling up to Salford, then they're probably off Sunday, back in Monday. So he's only going to have like 3 or 4 sessions since he's actually taken charge. He's had 3 games. I think that's absolutely mad the way that he's actually got us playing after 2 games, let alone then going up. So I'm going for a 2-0 win on Saturday myself. So, John, you was at the game last night and you had the privilege, because it was Ro's birthday, to have pictures, a shirt signed by Mr. Johnny Williams himself for Ro, and then you and the family had pictures taken with Mr. Ainsworth himself afterwards. So, talk us through that experience, mate. I bet it's buzzing.
Yeah, just a lovely experience. Big thank you to Mike Sullivan in the commercial team, really good friend of ours. Love the guy to bits. And also to Joe Comper as well for his involvement in arranging this for Roman. Obviously, I do a bit commercially with the club, as some people know, but that's one thing. When they go above and beyond to do stuff like this, it's special. The club really is going down a whole sort of community. It's becoming a community, a family club, and it's just amazing to see. And Roman, he loves Johnny Williams. He's one of his favourite players. Roman absolutely loves his football. And yesterday I can't thank the club enough, because he was buzzing when he went to bed. He was buzzing this morning. I got home from work today and he's still buzzing. So what an experience for a kid. And I'll also say Gareth Ainsworth, what a top fella he is. If anyone gets a chance to meet him and speak to him, what an engaging and what a nice bloke he is. We've spent some time with him, myself, my brother, my family. Yeah, he's a good guy. He's a good guy, and fantastic.
Very questionable, very rogue boots he's got on there, isn't they?
I like when he come out. He's got his tight jeans on. He's got his bloody he's got his half Parker puffer jacket on. He's not one of. He doesn't conform, does he?
No.
Which I think's great.
What was he like to talk to, John?
Really easy to talk to, actually.
Yeah.
We've met him a couple of times at the club this week on some business matters, and we've sat down and had a chat. Just really nice guy, talking about what he wants to do football-wise, asking what we think, what our type of football is, what we'd like to see, which is it's just really nice that he's actually bothered to talk to people about stuff like that. And when we met him with the family last night, he was talking to the wife and the kids. He's a really good communicator, and I think clubs need people like that. I know the managers there to manage the team and do that, but the fans are a big part of the club, and getting people to spend money in the club's a big thing. And if you've got a manager who will engage with the fans, engage with commercial partners, be good with sponsors, it's good for the business side of things, and it's good for the footballing side of the things, because if people like the manager as a personality, they'll get behind him. They'll give him that little bit extra. And what a good guy he is. Yeah.
Perfect. I'm you know what I said to you, John, earlier, didn't I? I wasn't over the moon that he came in, but I wasn't disappointed at the same time. But he just seems like a real nice bloke. He just comes across good. Really, just top bloke. Comes across well in his interviews as well. And we've been privy to some fucking bullshit coming out of managers' mouths recently, haven't we, Luke? But he just kind of comes across just like a normal bloke, really. Like, it doesn't give it the big un, doesn't give it the wordsmith, like William Shakespeare bloody type spill and all that rubbish. He just says it how it is. And he actually backs it up as well when he does say it. So it kind of good there, boys. So we are coming to the end of the show, and as soon as we are talking about yourself, John, we are of course sponsored by Snodhurst Used Car Sales and Service Station. If you need your car fixed or you want to buy a new one, then there's the details on the screen. We are also in partnership with the Gillingham FC Supporters Club. So if you would like to join today, then you can do so at gfcsc.co.uk. For us, you can join us on X at TVFTM, a view from Medway fancast, or YouTube at The View from the Medway fancast or The View from the Medway on Facebook. So, boys, before we leave it there tonight, does anybody have anything else to talk about or any housekeeping?
I'm going to say one more thing. Aaron Rowe, seeing him back on the bench and seeing him come onto the pitch yesterday, that little cameo of his, he's going to add something to this team. If he's here next season, he's going to add something to what we do. He's got that pace, he's got that ability to go past people, he's got that bit of trickery in his locker. He will contribute a lot to our team.
Yeah, to be fair, I think we missed him out, actually, because we did speak about it, didn't we? And earlier on, and I said that he just kept taking people on. He was very good, wasn't he, Luke?
I think it's interesting that you've got, so like, let's just say that who the three bad eggs were kind of pointed at is Shad, Jaden, and Aaron Rowe, who completely kind of bombed out by John Coleman. I think it's an interesting one. Where is it John was too hard on discipline, or have they got a bit of an attitude problem? So I think it's quite telling that maybe with a different type of management style, I think Ainsworth's the type of bloke that he's more of a arm around the shoulder type of guy, and then if you do piss him off, you know about it. But I think Coleman may have been too heavy-handed with a few of them. So it's like I say, it's nice to see them backing up. I think we'll only know the full transparency of it to see if them three are here next season, which obviously kind of them bringing Bort back in would assume that they are. So I think it's just an interesting one where was leading with the iron fist as Coleman did too strong. But we'll never know, will we?
But then you could then put that down to maybe Bonner was too soft.
Yeah.
So then they've got a hard manager come in, which was a bit too much of a culture shock originally. Whereas I think maybe if you had, I think maybe Gareth's a little bit in between the two, as you rightfully said. But I think maybe going from being too soft to being too hard, it just had a negative effect on the whole squad, to be quite honest with you. But yeah, Phil, any Phil's thoughts to end the show this evening?
Well, I was just thinking that we can carry on this trajectory over the next 7 games. If Ainsworth can show that he is who he says he is, if the players keep responding, the fans will respond, and that will bode well for the season ticket sales, because obviously they've just come out this week. And we had a good number there last night. For Tuesday night, well, it was a bit nippy.
Yeah, 5-9,
fantastic.
Something.
It's not the highest in League Two, but we get consistently good gates. We've got a great fan base. I don't want to start talking about sleeping giants getting up again. But,
shush.
Don't
say that.
We do have a lot of potential and a lot of potential to grow. And if we can get our gates up to 8,000 or so again, it's going to make the club a lot happier all round.
The place will rock. Rock.
If you look at the start of this season, it was just over 7,500. Carlisle, and obviously as it's gone on this season, it's been about 5.5, early, nearly 6s. But an extra 2,000 people in that stadium, that half makes some noise.
Yeah.
I think that's what we all want.
We're averaging about 6-8 this season, roughly. If you think about it, from as Luke says, from the start of the season to now, we're averaging about 6-8, which is a hell of a lot better than 4,000 we were getting before the man that shan't be named left the club. So yes, boys, any other housekeeping at all that you'd like to mention before we shoot off this evening? No? Well, in that case, thank you for watching. I've been Chris, he's been John, he's been Luke, he's been Phil. Good night, and up the Gills.
Come on,